Sometimes love does not arrive loudly. It does not announce itself with confessions, promises, or dramatic moments. Sometimes love enters quietly, slipping into silence, settling gently inside two people who never speak about it, yet feel it constantly. When two hearts begin to feel each other without words, without clarity, without labels, something deeper than attraction starts working beneath the surface. Psychology says that when emotional attachment forms at the subconscious level, the mind and heart begin to send signals again and again, even when a person tries to ignore them. These are not obvious signs. They are subtle, emotional, repetitive feelings that return no matter how much you distract yourself. And when this silent connection is real, these 11 signs begin to appear again and again. Sign 1. Their thoughts appear without any reason. The first sign is not dramatic, but it is persistent. You are not trying to think about them, yet their face, their voice, or a small memory suddenly appears in your mind. It happens while you are working, resting, or doing something completely unrelated. Psychology explains that when someone becomes emotionally important to your subconscious mind, your brain stops treating them as a random memory. Instead, it keeps bringing them to the surface, not to distract you, but to make you aware that an emotional bond has already formed. This is not obsession, it is emotional imprinting. Your mind remembers what your heart has already accepted. Sign 2. Distance does not break the emotional connection. The second sign appears during silence. Days may pass without conversation, messages may stop, yet you do not feel emotionally disconnected from them. Instead of feeling distant, you feel strangely connected, as if something invisible still links you. This happens because emotional presence does not depend on physical interaction. Psychology calls this emotional attachment, where connection exists internally rather than externally. You do not need constant communication to feel them, because your emotions already know where they belong. Silence does not weaken the bond, it quietly proves it. Sign 3. Their small actions affect you deeply. When someone has not yet entered your heart, their words feel neutral. But when a silent connection forms, even their smallest actions start affecting you deeply. A short message, a delayed reply, a change in tone, or even something they casually say stays in your mind longer than it should. What others say feels forgettable, but what they say stays with you. Psychology explains this as emotional sensitivity, a state where your emotional system becomes tuned to one specific person. Their behavior carries emotional weight because your heart is already involved, even if your mind refuses to admit it. Sign 4. You feel like yourself around them. One of the strongest silent signs is emotional safety. When you are around them, you do not feel the need to perform, impress, or hide parts of yourself. You feel natural, relaxed, and unguarded, even when nothing romantic is spoken. Psychology states that emotional safety is the foundation of deep attachment. When the brain senses safety, it lowers defense mechanisms. That is why you feel comfortable being real around them. You are not trying to be perfect, you are simply being you, and that is never accidental. Sign 5. You sometimes distance yourself because feelings feel too strong. This sign often confuses people. Just when emotions deepen, you may suddenly pull back. You reply late, avoid long conversations, or create emotional distance. This does not happen because feelings disappear. It happens because feelings grow too intense. Psychology explains this as emotional self-protection. When emotions rise without clarity or direction, the mind creates distance to avoid vulnerability. You step back not because you care less, but because you care more than you know how to handle. Sign 6. Their emotions reflect inside you. When they are happy, you feel lighter. When they are sad, your mood drops without knowing why. Even before they explain anything, you sense that something inside them has changed. This is known in psychology as emotional mirroring. It happens when two people are emotionally attuned to each other. Your emotional system unconsciously responds to their emotional state. You are not imagining it. Your heart is reacting before words appear. Sign 7. You feel the same emotions at the same time. At times, you feel restless without reason. At times, you suddenly feel calm or emotional without explanation. Later, you realize they were feeling the same way at that exact moment. Psychology explains this as emotional synchronization. When two people form a deep emotional bond, their emotional rhythms begin to align. This does not require constant interaction. It happens naturally. It feels like your hearts are tuned to the same frequency, responding to each other silently. Sign 8. Loyalty exists even without commitment. Even without labels, promises, or conversations, your heart remains loyal to them. You do not feel drawn to others in the same way. Emotional interest naturally narrows toward one person. Psychology states that emotional attachment often forms before conscious decisions do. Your heart commits quietly long before your mind defines anything. This is not intentional loyalty. It is emotional alignment. Sign 9. Silence feels comfortable, not awkward. With most people, silence feels heavy. With them, silence feels peaceful. You can sit together, talk less, or even say nothing at all, yet feel understood. This is a strong psychological sign of emotional intimacy. When silence becomes comfortable, it means words are no longer required for connection. Your presence alone feels enough. Sign 10. You want closeness, yet fear it at the same time. One of the most painful signs is inner conflict. You want to move closer, yet you hesitate. You want clarity, yet you fear it. Psychology explains this as emotional vulnerability fear. Getting closer means risking emotional exposure, and the mind naturally fears what the heart deeply wants. This push and pull feeling is not confusion. It is fear of losing something that already matters. Sign 11. Deep inside, you know this is not ordinary. The final sign is quiet certainty. No matter how much you deny it, something inside you knows this connection is not ordinary attraction. It does not fade with time. It deepens. Psychology describes this as emotional significance. When a person becomes deeply meaningful to your emotional identity, such connections do not disappear easily. They grow, evolve, and leave lasting marks. Your heart recognizes what your mind is still trying to understand. When two hearts begin to feel each other in silence, love does not demand words. It settles quietly, speaks through emotions, and reveals itself through repeated signs. Some connections are not meant to be rushed, explained, or forced. They are meant to be felt slowly, deeply, and honestly. Because the strongest love is often the one that begins in silence.